Hello friends, welcome to my channel. Welcome to Daily Code Challenges once again. Today is Day35 and we have another very interesting challenge here, right? So this one is kind of similar to what we did yesterday. So looking at what we did yesterday, we we actually wrote a function that helps to find the minimum number, that's the smallest number in an array, right? So today we have something similar. Okay, so here is what we have. Longest name, right? Longest name. So we have an array that contains so many names and want to write a function to help check the longest name, right? So the instruction says the function longest name takes an array of names and returns the longest. If there's a tie, it returns the first name of the longest length. However, this implementation is full of bugs. Use your debugging skills to find and fix those bugs. Okay, so let's head on to the challenge, right? Okay, so like I said, what we did yesterday, the idea gotten from here can actually be used to code this one, right? So if you were not around, if you were not with us yesterday, or if you haven't watched my video of yesterday, feel free to go to day 34 and watch it so that working on day 35 will be much more easier, right? So I'm going to close day 34. So here, these are the names in the array. So you are going to console log when the function is being called. That's longest name. So to make this even easier, we can just remove this array and then give it a name. Let's cut this entire array because it seems so long. Let's rather write an array. Let's give it a variable name. Let's say test name equals to this. All right, so we simply pass test name into this place. Okay, so I think this is okay. So that just in case we have other arrays to write, we could just add them here. We give them other names, right? Then we work with them. Okay, let's move to the code implementation. What do we need to do first? We need to write the function name. Yeah, we need to write the function keyword and the function name. So here the function name is longest name and it's accepting a parameter. Let's call it, should we call it array or let's call it names? Let's call it names. So you can choose to call it whatever you like, right? But make sure the name you are giving it is descriptive. So here we need to look through each of the names in this array. Now not each of the character in an individual name, no, but rather each of the names in this array. So we say we use a for loop, we change index to I, then change array here to names, and then also we don't need this line of code, so we remove it. All right, so what we need to do is we are going to compare the first value, the first name we have in the array, we compare to other names in the array in that order, right? So we are going to check for, we are going to check if James is, if the length of James is greater than Patricia. If it is, James occupies the first item in the array, right? If it's not, if there's another name that is longer than James, that occupies the first item, the first name in the array, right? So here we are simply going to say, before we do that, let's write a variable name and assign it to the first name in the array. So we say let's what should we call this? Let's call it long name. Uh long name. Because I don't want to call it longest name again because here we already have longest name as name of the function. So I don't know. Let's call it long name. Okay, let's call it long name. We can still choose to change the name during the while still coding, right? So let's begin with this. So long name, equals names, which is the parameter here, 0. So we are assigning the first name in the array to a variable name called long name. The next we want to do is we want to check if this long name, if the length of this long name is greater than any, or is if the length of this long name is greater than other names in this array. Once it finds any name that is longer than itself, it pushes that name to the first name in the array. So this means that we say if long name dot length is greater than names I. That means we want to look through every name in the array, right? Every name after the first name in the array. So we don't have to start from 0. We can just start from 1 because the index with the 0 value is already assigned to a variable name, long name, right? So we can just continue from here. So working with this, what we need to do next is we, after writing this condition, right? If this exists, this name here, it gets pushed as the first name in the array, right? So here what we do is we say, here we say long name dot length greater than name I dot length. Yes. So we simply say long name equals names I, right? Because that means that that particular name that is longer than this one is now assigned to the first name in the array. All right. So next thing we need to do is we need to return this long name. So we say return long name. So we save this and let's run. Okay, James is appearing. Okay, I think we made a mistake, right? So so when writing code, sometimes one just have to fix some bugs. So this is not supposed to be greater than, this is supposed to be less than, right? Let's run this and see if that works. Okay, all right. So we have Christopher. Christopher is the longest name in the array, right? When we do a count of characters in each of these names. So even looking at this part here, the instruction already made us to understand that we are looking out for Christopher as the longest name in the array. So you can choose to add other arrays as well to see if, to be able to check the longest one of all of them. So here is what I've done. Here is what we have here. Longest name. We've been able to implement our function to help check for the longest name in an array, right? So thanks for joining on this call. Thanks for having me. And I hope to see you tomorrow and stay blessed. Bye.